Maybe that you had a minute and 16 of bad sound on YouTube
So,
and it shut
welcome.
off.
Yeah, she got an email.
Kim?
Now, you guys are sending a link by email or text?
Email.
Send it by email. Okay, so can you get on that?
You ready? All right, welcome. We are appreciative of everybody who is watching us live. I'll call the meeting to order. At this point, I'll ask council if there are any adjustments to tonight's agenda.
I would like to make an adjustment to the agenda, please.
Okay. Yeah, now, yeah.
Okay, state file?
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, Emily had contacted me one day last week. There's a lot of parents contacting her about their seniors because of school situation and everything. So we came up with an idea how parents could acknowledge their children. And maybe letting them do like what the library does with the annual book club, put a small sign on the greenway for a certain period of time with their child's picture on it.
So you want us to entertain that? We'll put it under other business.
Yes, that'd be good.
How we wording that?
Greenway project. Any other adjustments to the agenda? Okay. Hearing none, ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made. Is there a second? Second. Motion is made. Proceed to second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition?
You hear both of them on that?
Mr. Bryant, did I hear you?
Oh.
Did you vote?
Yeah. I couldn't vote, so I have to be after the
We at least need his assent to adjust it to special meeting.
All right, okay. The motion passed.
Video though, I looked at the video yet.
No, this was to adjustment to the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. I got that.
Okay.
Motion passes. I do think that the email link has been sent out. So for folks who are on the phone, should have a copy of that link in your email. So the next item on our agenda is council business, and the first item is to consider adoption of policy 56, titled Remote Participation Policy for meetings of the Troutman Town Council. This time I'll turn it over to Mr. Freeman.
Okay, we have the town attorney here, and as you all directed, to look at a policy for adopting that we're now getting into this remote situation on that. And of course, Gary has drafted you a copy that you have up there. And I think we had one question, I saw one question this weekend regarding the policy, which was how many could we have on a remote? Oh, sorry, gotta talk louder. Okay, how many can we have on a remote? My understanding is that you have to have a quorum here before you can go to the remote, so that basically limits you to 2, I believe, for remote. So that's how the policy is written at this particular time. And Gary, I want to turn it off. Do you have any questions or additional information you need to pass on?
It would limit you to 2, except if let's say the mayor was out of the country, then the quorum would actually have to be 4 of the 5 council members physically present, so that would limit you to 1. I will say this, the Attorney General has issued an opinion that during the time of this coronavirus, that potentially the whole board can meet remotely because of exigent circumstances. That's not going to be a routine thing. So once we're over that, then it would fall back to whatever policy y'all pass.
Any other questions?
I do have some questions. I have a copy of what the county commissioners had passed earlier, and just had a couple of things. Under number 3 on hours, it says public hearings on zoning issues and the vote on the zoning issue. Why would we not be allowed? Because you have stated that we are allowed to participate in open meeting, and that's part of open and public hearing meetings.
Well, this policy I took from a whole variety of different towns. And most of them do not have participation in public hearings remotely. The reason for that is this: when a person is here speaking, you obviously want to be able to see the person. And as you know, in most public hearings, at some point, someone in the hearing is going to present a document to the board. And the person that's operating remotely is not going to be able to see that document. There's also the idea of seeing body language of the people that are participating, seeing everything they'd be seeing. So anything that's presented at the actual meeting, the remote person is not going to be able to see that and participate in that part of the hearing. So the idea is that you can't have full participation in a public hearing if you are remote. And I would say of all the places I examined, that was that was not allowed.
Okay,
So again, I just used an amalgamation of different towns.
Yeah, so, and the only thing I would add to that, I think that's potential. And the reason I say that, so if we had a open hearing, for example, over at the CAP Center, where there are cameras, so that if you're speaking, those cameras pick you up. And so the person who's speaking, participating in the hearing, you not only see them, but responses back from the council. I only say that we don't have the technology here today to do that. And so the other piece of that, which I've seen, is if you're going to present something at the hearing, you have to do it either 24 hours or some time period, let's just say, prior to the meeting. And so we would have to set up a process or criteria around doing that, to your point,
Correct.
which we don't, it's not set up that way today.
Correct.
okay, the other thing, it says that if there's gonna be 1 or 2 people participating remotely, that the chairman needs to know in advance, because they need to find out if there is gonna be a quorum. So they do that before the meeting even starts. And then it also states that if the chairman is, let's see, at any meeting where the chairman is the member participating remotely, the vice chairman shall preside as the officer in accordance with the rules. In no event shall the chairman and vice chairman both be permitted to participate by remote. I think maybe we'll have something in there just in case.
Well, on the first point, number 4 says that you have to let the council clerk know that you're going to have remote participation and request approval of the mayor at least 24 hours ahead of time. So that's the same thing.
Okay,
The statute's already, the reason we don't say mayor and mayor pro tem on this is because the statute's already say that the mayor pro tem takes over when the mayor cannot be.
yes, but this is saying that they both can't be participating remotely in their policy.
Well, we could add that. We could add just simply that the mayor pro tem shall not both participate remotely at the same meeting.
That, those are
We could
the,
add that to probably number 4.
Any issues or concerns with that addition? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Question for me, Gary, on number 11, Says a council member may participate remotely in 2 meetings of the council in any calendar year, provided a member may participate remotely in additional meetings upon a supermajority vote of council, occurring at a regular meeting of council. So my question is, this talks about remote meetings. Is this including agenda briefing, regular meetings, special meetings?
This would be any meeting.
Okay. I may ask that we make that a little bit more liberal than 2. And again, I want to ask in terms of historically what you saw for putting the 2 there, but
What I historically saw was this. I think that the concern is whether somebody will abuse, and never show up. And the idea behind the statutes and the idea behind even allowing remote is that the encouragement is for council members to be at meetings physically. So again, the 2 meetings was pretty much, again, I took several, different towns and looked at what they had, and this was the general rule of thumb, was the 2 meetings.
And that's what, and the county policies too.
And I looked at the counties as well, I think theirs is 2.
okay.
Question,
But you can admit, if you want to do more, you can do more.
can we do 2 regular meetings and 2 agenda briefings?
You can do anything you
Because-
want to do.
That's,
You can have 1 week, you have somebody that's out 1 meeting,
and that's it.
let's say I'm out of town, for that week, and I participate remotely on Monday's agenda briefing, and then on Thursday's regular meeting, that's it for the year for me. So, perhaps liberalize it to that point where 2 regular meetings and 2 agenda briefing meetings.
Yeah, I mean, y'all can do whatever you want, but I mean, of those meetings are only 24 a year. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, that's not, that many meetings, but I mean, y'all can,
But,
yeah, y'all can do whatever you'd like to do.
yeah, but again, I think the point is, those aren't the only meetings to attend.
Right.
Right, so we were at the meeting today. We've already attended 2 this week. Now we're attending 2 today. That's 4 in 1 month.
Right.
So it's automatically more than 24.
Like I say, just in 1 week of 1 month, we lose both privileges, in just 1 week.
I simply wrote this as a starting
Yeah,
point, so
yeah,
y'all can
yeah,
change it,
yeah.
or modify it how you'd like.
So, so the offer is 2 regular meetings, 2 agenda, briefings.
Yes.
Is that agreeable to folks? Yeah, good question.
If you say 2 regular meetings, what about special meetings or 5 meetings? It's not going to, if you say regular schedule.
Regularly scheduled meetings, yeah.
I'm sorry, what was it?
What I've added is, it would say a council member may participate remotely in 2 regular meetings and 2 agenda briefing meetings of council in any calendar year.
But Kim's question is, does that include special meetings as well? So like today, we've got 2 members who are participating remotely. They did here, they did at our special meeting over there, so they're done for the year.
Well,
I mean,
this would take effect of,
No, I get it, but I'm saying technically, if this were to be in place, that they would have been,
yeah, and if you want to allow that, you
Yeah.
can, we can write it in, most
Right.
places do not.
Well, we're saying, when we say 2 regular meetings, are we going to, put in parentheses, including special meetings? In other words, if they participate in a remotely in a special meeting, then that's one of the regular meetings that they can miss.
Well, or you could simply say, a council member may participate remotely in 4 meetings of the council. That covers every meeting that you have.
Well, but that allows, again, four regular meetings, 4 Thursday
I
night
wouldn't say,
meetings.
I wouldn't say regular, I'm just saying 4 meetings of the council. That would include special, that would include emergency, that would include agenda briefing, and that would include regular. So if you just say 4 meetings of the council, That could be any of the meetings.
That's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, and that
And I think
allows.
what you're saying, you don't want to allow for.
Or, well, someone could say 4 regular Thursday night meetings, so 4 months, the 4 months are not in a meeting, not a regular meeting, if you will. So that's why, the 2 agenda briefings, the 2 regular meetings, and in parentheses, that includes a special call meeting.
Kim.
So I just simply say, if someone were to, remotely connect with a special call meeting, and then at another month, a regular meeting, that would be it, other than the 2 agenda briefings.
So that I'm clear too. So Paul's point of 4 meetings. So his original ask was 2 regular meetings. So still within that, if you just said 2 regular meetings and 2 other meetings, would that cover it?
Yeah.
So that would not get to 4 regular meetings, but they could miss at least 2 regular meetings, a calendar year.
And that could be, those other meetings could be
It could be
agendas.
agenda, they could be special, whatever.
So language would read, a council member may participate remotely in 2 regular meetings and 2 other meetings of the council. The agenda, special, whatever it might be.
Okay. All right. Does that get you?
Other than regular meetings, yes. Yes.
Maybe some regularly monthly or scheduled or
However,
something.
I can't move forward. Yeah. You asked me the question, now I'm asking you.
Gary, would that read, in one calendar year?
That's what it
Yes.
says.
Yes.
So, seems to me that we're trying to, write policy, for normal time. And today's time is not normal. And Gary has said that the Attorney General's opinion, would suggest that the whole board should be remotely during the emergency, period called by state, the county, and our own name. I would ask that we table this discussion on remote participation, and where we're trying to nail down the number of meetings that we can or cannot participate remotely until this, current emergency situation is lifted, across the state and the nation. Then revisit it during normal time. I would like nothing better than to be there today with all of you and see your faces and body language and those things that we feel are important. But I'm not going to be able to do that. I've stated that in writing to the town management and the mayor. I'll be glad to share that with any of you that would like to know more about my own personal circumstances. But I will not be able to attend the council meeting next week, or the agenda briefing next week. So I will have used up my 4 meetings if you approve this tonight. And then you tell me what you're going to do with me after that.
So,
Paul,
So-
if we, what happened today, would not be covered on anything that we would pass tonight. That would, start the clock, that'd reset the clock, if you will, to where if you meet next week, then, the way we're proposing, you would have you would use one of your free passes on another meeting, and then one of the regular meetings. So you would still have a, other meeting left and a regular meeting left if this policy as proposed were to pass.
And I have no argument in what the mayor, to go with this as his policy is written. But, I don't believe that it should be or should be, during this emergency situation, with, kind of look, within our own household as to, what our biggest responsibility is, and we try and, balance our responsibility, to our constituents and parents.
Now, my question is this then, if
But I would recommend that the last week.
The other thing you can do, Jim was just mentioning this to me, we could add another section that says that during, when a state of emergency has been declared, that, remote participation may occur, and not be limited by this policy.
Yeah, I was about to say that, another way that during, natural disasters or, stated declarations um, that this policy is not covered under those situations, or something to that effect, because again, just, reading the opinion by the Attorney General clearly says remote participation is not exclusively prohibited by statute, and local governments can carry out the necessary electronic and remain compliant with the open meetings laws. Again, for me, that clearly says we can do it. These are any restraints on it are what we put on it. So, for sure, during these kinds of times, if folks, want to look again at this opinion, I think it should be exempted in the policy if we need to move forward with the policy, clearly stated.
That would be if emergency order's been issued by the governor or the president,
Or the town,
or the town.
Right.
All right, I can go along with that.
or the county or the town or whatever government entity. So, if we have a state of emergency due to, for example, a tornado hit, and it hit this building, you're not coming in this building for a meeting. It's going to happen remotely. So, again, it would be a government entity that issued a stated declaration. This policy would not apply.
Okay, in state of emergency, the town, state, federal, would be the three criteria.
Yeah, I would say yeah. I would say yeah. I mean, if you got a state declaration out there, it's going to pertain to the country. That would be the rule.
Yeah, I think you covered it. I just want a clarification on this. I think it would be stronger if you go ahead and, exactly what you're saying, adopt the policy so you have the basis of this when it's not the declaration. And then when that declaration comes in, which I was looking at this next thing, you could add that sentence in there. We forget about the limiting and unlimiting.
Exactly.
But people they can look back what we've done before, declaration goes off, you go back to your policy.
Right.
I concur.
Paul.
So I've written language, this would be number 12. This policy shall not apply, and remote participation may occur if a state of emergency has been declared by the United States, state of North Carolina, Iredell County, town of Troutman, that directly affects Troutman. If it's on the coast, you don't need them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, did you hear that language?
Yeah, I hear that. That makes sense.
Okay. All right. Okay. That being the case, with the adopted language that Gary will provide for us, do we want to move forward with this policy?
The three areas are the number 4 about the mayor and the pro tem can't be remote at the same time. And then 11 was,
Maybe I'll just review it. Number 4, I've added a sentence that will say, mayor and mayor pro tem shall not participate remotely at the same meeting. In number 11, I've changed that, a council member may participate remotely in 2 regular meetings and 2 other meetings, parentheses, agenda briefing, special, etc., close parentheses, of the council in any calendar year. In number 12, this policy shall not apply, and remote participation may occur if a state of emergency has been declared by the United States, state of North Carolina, Iredell County, town of Troutman, that directly affects Troutman.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to adopt the policy as presented?
So moved.
Motion is made, proceed to second. Any other question or comment on policy 56? Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Aye.
Hearing none, motion passes. All right, the next item on our agenda is consider the adoption of ordinance 0520, titled an ordinance regarding meetings of the town council during state of emergency.
Mayor, I think this goes hand in hand with what's happening today and what you adopted here. This basically gives, and Gary, correct me if I'm wrong here, basically gives you the authority. We didn't understand if you had 20 people out there coming in tonight, and you can't have more than 10 people, and they want to come in at the meeting, just give the authority to the mayor to say, I have the authority under the general statutes here to say, no, we're going to continue with our public meeting, but it's going to be live streamed, and we will not be letting you in. That's nuts and bolts. Anything to add to that, Gary?
The other thing is that say for instance, for your regular Thursday meeting, statutes require a public comment period. So that still allows the public comment period, they would have to be in writing. And that's number 3.
Any other questions or comments? So just so that I'm clear, Gary, this would require public comment to be in writing, and not electronic in some form or
I
fashion.
put by email or by regular mail,
Okay, all right,
and then read at the meeting by the clerk.
okay.
And this is only when he closes the meeting. Public meeting.
Other comments?
Question though, all right, as you say, the public, may make its comments to council, email or regular mail by 5 p.m. the day of the meeting. Such comments shall be read by the council, to the council by the town clerk, or designated during the meeting. Now, how is it going to be handled? We're conducting the meeting and Kim, receives text of comments. How is that to be handled so that, it doesn't become a Donnybrook of a meeting, with you throwing in comments every so often? I mean, how do we handle that?
This applies, and maybe I need to write it a little better. You are required by statute to have a public comment period on anything they want to talk about.
Okay.
And you have that on your
So you
regular.
do that during that, okay,
That's what this has to do.
I got you. Okay, I'm fine, okay.
And maybe I should add the language, the public may make its comments during the regular
Public comment.
public
Yeah.
comment period.
See, I thought if there's anything, if we were talking about, something else, that they could comment on that and it would need to be read out.
Well, I'll just say during the regular statutorily required comment period.
Of course, there's no state of emergency, which comes to be taking that emergency. Our own meeting changes. But
So I'll add, in the second line, its comments during the regular statutorily required comment period. Public comment period.
Any other? If not, we'll ask for a motion to consider the adoption of ordinance 0520 titled an ordinance regarding meetings of the town council during states of emergency.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made. Is there a second? Motion is made, received a second. Any other question or comment? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item on the agenda is text amendment TA 2002, text amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance relating to truck parking and maintenance, removal of use and standards from section 3.1, 3.3.1, 3.4, and 13.3. At this time, I will open this public hearing and turn it over to Springer.
Sure, with the public here. I think we've discussed this for the last few months. We all know what it's about. It's actually to, seems to have been a kind of a misunderstanding in that, and to actually take the removal of the truck parking and maintenance out of the heavy industrial zone. And we were supposed to have a public hearing in the last month. We didn't. We're having it today, and it was concurrence of the council here to actually get this going. It did have to go through the process with the planning board. There was one negative vote on going forward with this, but the majority of the planning board has made the recommendation to eliminate it from your text. I'll leave it at that.
All right, did we get any public comment?
We got no public comments on it, that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And I don't think anything's been submitted to the clerk's office in this.
Any questions for Mr. Freeman? Okay. This time I will, move to close this public hearing. Council, I will, ask you to consider adoption of ordinance 02-20 titled an ordinance amending the Town of Troutman Unified Development Ordinance. Is there such a motion? So moved. Motion is made to, consider adoption of the ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, received the second. Any, other question or comment? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
No.
Hold on.
One no. Motion passes.
But you, I assume you know, with the policy now, they can participate in the vote. Since the policy is the fact that the policy doesn't apply under the exigent circumstances. So, I mean, I heard one vote, I don't know if I heard another vote.
And I'm assuming if I don't hear a vote, it's just like the meeting on the dais.
It's affirmative.
It's affirmative.
Okay.
So Paul, Eddie, just to restate, if I'm not hearing you, I'm assuming that is a yes. That vote,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm in favor of that motion, sir.
great,
And I'm ready as well, yeah.
absolutely. So I heard, all yes and one no. Okay. The next item then would be to consider a statement of consistency. Council wanna make a statement of consistency?
I make a motion regarding consistency of this action, that this text amendment is consistent with the 2018 Strategic Master Plan and the Unified Development Ordinance as it would remove a permitted use from the list of land uses and standards allowed within the zoning jurisdiction of the town of Troutman that is not compatible with other land uses within the town. Further, the proposed text amendment is in its entirety, it's reasonable and within the public interest.
A motion is made, regarding our statement of consistency. Is there a second? Second.
I will second that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll allow Eddie to receive the second. Any other question or comment on the statement of consistency? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
No.
Motion passes. I heard, two noes and all yes. Is that right, Paul? Did I hear you say no?
Paul Bryant voted no.
Okay. All right, so motion passes. Yeah, the next item on our agenda is the annexation request, AX 2001, non-contiguous project name Redwood Living. The applicant is Troutman Gateway LLC, 12.356 acres. PIN is 474-0880-736 and 474-078-8745, located near the northeast quadrant of US 21 South Main Street in Oswald, Amity. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Freeman.
Mayor, just for your information, the petitioner, Mr. Dyer, is on the speakerphone here. He did indicate that he's watching it live over the screen, so if you have any questions, or if you would like to speak up, we'll just use the speakerphone here. You have the staff report in regards to the non-contiguous annexation before you. It's approximately 12.35 acres located, as you had said, by US 21 and South Main Street. The planning board has looked at this, and the planning director, and the staff report does make the recommendation to go ahead with the non-contiguous annexation. And with that, I'll just let it go. You have a copy of everything in there.
Okay, great. Did we receive any public comment?
We did not receive any negative public comment or any public comment regarding this.
Does the applicant wish to speak?
Do you wish to speak, Mr. Dyer?
I'll just say that I appreciate you allowing me to participate. I'm sorry I'm not there, but I'm available to answer any questions that you might have with regards to the parcel of land, or if you have any questions about our company. Let me briefly say we've been in existence since 1991. We've got approximately 12,000 dwellings, which we own and manage across the United States. We're active in the Charlotte area and in the Spartanburg, Greenville area, and we're expanding in both of those areas. We look forward to having a Redwood apartment neighborhood in Troutman. If you have any questions, I'll ask.
How many apartments are you planning, sir?
Excuse me?
How many apartments are you planning?
There would be 95. These are single-story, and they all have two-car attached garage.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. At this time, I will consider this public hearing closed. We will now consider the adoption of ordinance 03-20 titled an ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Troutman, North Carolina, non-contiguous. Is there such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's on the floor to consider the ordinance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made, receive a second. Any other question or comment? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Now, the next item on our agenda is the rezoning request, RZ 2002, Redwood Troutman. The project name is Redwood Living, Inc. The owner is Brian D. Fletcher. It's 12.356 acres. PIN number is 474-0788-745 and 474-088-0763. Located near the northeast quadrant of US 21 South Main and Oswald Amity Road, Iredell County. Currently general business / conditional district to town of Troutman highway business. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Freeman.
Mayor, thank you very much. Also, this is connected to the annexation agreement that you just approved on that. The planning board did review this rezoning request. They wholeheartedly supported it, as you have a copy of that in your staff report from the planning director. And it just seems to go hand in hand with what we have with our land use plan. So with that, I'll turn it over to the petitioner here if he has anything you would like to add. Mr. Dyer?
I'm here to answer questions.
Okay.
Any questions for the applicant? Okay. All right. And then did we receive any?
No, we had no receive a public notice or against it.
At this time, I will close this public hearing. At this time, council, we will consider the adoption of ordinance 04-20 titled an ordinance changing the zoning classification of the after described property from Iredell County general business / conditional district to town of Troutman highway business. Is there such a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Motion's on the floor to adopt the ordinance 04-20 2020. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. Any question or comment? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item is to consider a consistency statement. Council, is there a statement of consistency?
I'll read it, Mayor. I'll make a motion regarding consistency of this action, that rezoning to the highway business is consistent with the 2035 future land use map, as it would allow a general commercial development, including multifamily residential development in appropriately designated areas. It is consistent with the current unified development ordinance, is reasonable, and in the public interest.
Motion is made to accept our consistency statement. Is there, or approve our consistency statement? Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Williams has that.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second. Any other question or comment? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item on our agenda is
Thank you.
other business
Bye-bye.
and any reports. At this time, I'll ask council for any other business. Start with Ms. Williams.
Okay, as I stated earlier, our Park and Recreation Director, Emily Watson, texted me one day last week and said she has been getting phone calls from mothers of seniors wanting to know how we could recognize them, since it appears that they won't be in school for any recognitions. Someone, she had sent me a picture that I guess was sent to her, and it showed a banner similar to ours on the light poles with the child's jersey number and their picture. And I said, well, that's a nice idea, but I don't think we have enough light poles for all the seniors from South Iredale. And so then we sort of started brainstorming, and she said, well, what if we did a parade and they could ride in their cars? And then she was like, well, no, because there would be people gathered along the route, and you can't do that. So I just threw out there, well, what about the Greenway? Why don't they make little signs like the library does every year with the books, and people can see it, and we can get the word out and leave it out there for a specific amount of time. So the next step was me bringing it to everyone today to get your approval or disapproval of it. If it is approved, then the next step was going to be that Emily was going to get in touch with Mr. Ivy, the principal of the high school, and let him know what we've decided, and let him see if that's a good idea, and then he can make the arrangements.
So can you describe what kind of, you say pole, can you give me a little description of what we're talking about?
Well, you know, the signs are similar to the, what the book, library does with their little book, annual book reading, and it's probably about the size of a campaign sign that's just stuck in the ground along the greenway.
And it would be parents, individual parents, I guess, responsibility to provide the sign and place it.
Right. We would need to come up, you know, with any specifications that we want to do or whatever.
Sally,
Yes, sir?
Paul Ryan, I'm just, thinking here, I've been alone all day. Would it be, perhaps simpler, but equally effective, to create a streaming video of these kids, with their name and the name is appropriate, that we post, on our website, and it's a continual, loop, video that we could advertise in some way, and anyone that wanted to go and look at all of these kids, do so as often as they wanted to, and the kids themselves to see their faces, and, and take pride in being part of that group. I'm just thinking out loud here, I'm not down the fine idea.
I don't see any reason why that couldn't be done and maybe meet, parents' approval. The only thing is, most citizens in the town wouldn't know to go to the website and look. It would just mainly be, relatives of the senior.
Possibly regular service.
I don't know, but I know it's probably gonna be a lot, but
That's what I
they have close, you know, what they have 1,500 or 2,000 students.
So just look at how condensed it would be going to.
But see, our Green Lake goes all the way up to Barium, and then the one going to South Ireland.
All of it.
Oh, yes.
I will graduate from that.
Tina, do you have any rough idea, seniors?
I know Morsel's got 460, I believe it is, and South is a little smaller, so just rough guess, 300.
Yeah.
That's a very rough guess.
I
Yeah,
think that's about right.
I would say at least 300, yeah. And I wouldn't see every parent doing this, I really don't.
So the school would be kind of, we just get one.
Well, the school would be, we thought the steps the school would have to take is to put out our criteria and, relay it, the message, because they can have, more direct correspondence with the parents and the students than we do.
And we can set the limit on this, and all that. So we'll have this one to make it a lot different.
Yes, we'd have to make them all, of the same size, and, you know, you don't need 15 in a 6-foot area, you know, we'd have to specify how far and everything, and exactly what areas they could put them in.
Time period.
Right, and a time period, definitely. Because we don't want to leave it up for a very long period of time.
They come up with the rules for it. I mean, we approve it, maybe you guys go over that.
No, we didn't brainstorm anything past that.
I mean, if we approve to have them do it, then y'all will go back and give us a set of criteria that we pass on to them.
Right,
Instead of trying to come up with all the criteria, nine of them, we don't use those lot of stuff anyway. We probably put the criteria together pretty quickly.
right. Tina, did you have something you want to say?
You might want to take in consideration, limit how many they can have, like one per senior, because you'll have some families that everybody, you know, even their fifth cousin twice removed will put a sign out, and you'll end up with like 20 of one senior, then it really
Yeah.
kind of jumbles it up, and it's not available for everybody else,
Right.
as far as spacing. So just a thought.
No, that's a good idea.
I might suggest from a legal standpoint, you probably want to only use this area out here because that's property that has been deeded to the town. For instance, the right of way, for instance, towards the high school, that's only a right of way and only for the purpose of a sidewalk and transportation. So those people, especially where you have houses, and I can think of at least one in particular, could object, and I think we'd have to take them down, whereas out here it's deeded property.
Yeah.
And does that include all the way to Barium or just the semen at Greenaway?
A lot of that area is just right of way.
Okay, so it would
And
really
it would
just,
all be, once you cross there by your house, that's all right of way, whereas this out here is deeded.
okay, so it would just be this out here, that what the library actually uses.
Down to Russell Street to, Homer Road.
Right,
And actually, my memory is actually, a little bit of that, as you get to the fairgrounds, is deeded, because I remember
That's right, yeah.
Miss, lady, Anna McAllis, she did deed it to us. But
Across
several of them are just rights of way, by the county.
yeah, that would be a nightmare, trying to say from here to here.
The
So,
safest place would just be this area right up here.
so a couple questions for me.
Okay,
You know, I've been on
I'll
this
try to
council a long
answer them.
time. And I'm all for how we need to figure out how to, represent our seniors in this kind of crazy time, right? And so, and I'm hearing all kinds of things that colleges and universities are going to be doing, trying to represent, their graduating students as well. Two things is, number one, the question came up, how many are we talking about, right? So, I mean, if we're talking about 300 sons, you've been on this council with me, that greenway is prized possession. I don't disagree, again, follow me. It is prized possession, number one, and, you know, we've said no signs on that greenway. So we're gonna have some feedback, if that is approved, that we did have approved signs on the greenway, which again, we've done with the library, so you're exactly right. The other piece, you know, for me is, what does our sign ordinance say? A lot of times we've said we exempted or what have you, but I think we need to understand what the, you know, what our sign ordinance say on our property. It does speak to it again. It does. And the other piece is, again, when are we talking about doing this? Are we talking, you know, now? Are we talking come, you know, May or what have you? What's our time period when we're looking at implementing the program? And of course, for how long? Right. So again, please think about the feedback piece. Just say.
But, and if I may, again, piggyback on what the mayor said, and even, what George said, can Park and Rec either have to do a special meeting, take this up, come back with a recommendation. But in light of what you're hearing.
Okay.
Again, I like the idea. Do not, so I'm just, you know.
Be sure to spell the mayor's name right when you report this.
And that limited period of time, we can let other outlets, you know, get them used to anyway.
Exactly. I don't think any more than 3 weeks.
By the way, I don't vote, so. I just,
Only if there's a tie.
and there's not tonight.
Yeah, but you got the influence, Paul.
Just give us a little feedback. I think the idea that Paul said is that, do we still have time for maybe Parks and Recs to look at this, come back with a recommendation, okay, these are the details of what we want. This is the size of the sign, this is where, you know, we'll put them, those sorts of things.
Right.
I don't think
Oh,
anybody.
we can make it detailed, you know, because I can see some parents will just really decorate that sign up.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks, during the week of the graduation, maybe, you know, that week before, week after.
And again, you know, as the mayor pointed out, the logistics of it, with, you got 300 kids, and if most of the parents do participate, you know, from Rumpel Street up to Old Murdoch, you
That's a
know,
lot.
and you got a lot, and as the mayor says, there are gonna be some people that are going, you know, will be very upset, and, the good thing is, suddenly will become not such a good thing.
Okay. I'll take these two then.
All right, awesome.
Can I ask for one point of clarification? I'm not clear as to what would be on the side
It would just be a picture
of the picture of the student.
of the student, yes, sir.
So where's it down, would the parent take the sign or would the town take the sign?
Neither. It would be the parent's responsibility to get the sign and put it up in the picture and everything.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
300 signs, photograph on the sign. It's pretty quick.
Adam's not here, so he's looking forward to it. He's probably watching.
And it could be quite possibly, Mr. Ivy maybe has some other idea.
Yeah. All right. Any other business with council?
And can that report back at our April meeting?
Sure,
About time?
sure. We can do it by email.
Yeah, electronic.
Yeah.
Just bring the job.
All right, if you're all finished, or?
Anything else for council? Paul, Eddie, did you have anything?
Yeah, I would just like to thank the mayor and the rest of all councilmen and councilwomen for all their patience and understanding through this tough times that we're having here, and a great job done today. So, I applaud all of you. Thank you very much.
Paul?
I will have to second that. It's great to see you guys. It was great to come today, collaboration with Todd, and with our staff and council. We got it done. So appreciation for that. Understanding that, so that we were all able to be.
Great.
Thank
So before we turn it over to Jim, just to say that, again, these are, they are different times, and I appreciate the staff as well today, but these last few weeks, it's been challenging, to see our chief, who's, her staff being IT professionals as they are, here, working with us to have a live meeting. Again, we're thinking outside the box, trying to do things differently. And so as a staff, appreciate all the patience that everybody has, and the fact that they continue to do their job effectively as critical part of the critical infrastructure of our community. And so I think it's important that we let them know that they too are appreciated, and hopefully everybody will remain safe and healthy in this time. Turn it over to Jim.
Mayor, thank you very much. We appreciate what you all doing in terms of supporting staff in these times, trying times. What I wanted to do is informally kind of give you a heads up on some things that are, because of this threat and what's happening with the governor, things are going to have to change a little bit. I've been on conversations with many of a couple times with all the managers in the county and some other regional people. Of course, also been with the school of government on that. And during this in-house stay, and what the governor's done, we're tomorrow getting together in regards to staff about 10 o'clock. I like the term somebody used today in one of the interviews about team and leadership team. I think that's appropriate to this group of staff members. We're going to have we're going to be designating essential employees and non-essential. You probably expected that. Fortunately or unfortunately, Tina's staff is already designated. She is essential, the whole police department. The second part that's designated right now is the public service department. What's not designated is up to the town is if they're essential or not, is the rest of the staff that we have. So we're going to have that discussion tomorrow. I.e. example, you have the planning director who's in Mecklenburg County, and he doesn't want to leave there because of their in-house thing, so he's not essential at this point. Recreation and things of that sort. The girls that are in the staff room over there, and then we've got to make sure that they now have that separation, and I think we have it. So I think some of the talk will be that we may be looking at maybe one person at a time, and they are coming in, which means we're going to have to shut down a lot of our citizens coming into us or paying the bills. We're going to try to. But with this in-house, and we're not alone. I understand this is happening across the state. The other thing that will be talked about, and I need to bring this back up to you all, that it's strongly recommended that we have to cut down the number of meetings. I know we have the one required meeting, as Gary said, but because people we're trying to get the technology out there. So what I'm hearing is during these, while the governor has the in-house stay on, which could be 30, unfortunately, I think it's going to be longer than that. We're hearing from the health department and that. So one of the things is that we've been told or mentioned about just having your council meetings as essential meetings. I mean, things that really have to be done and keeping the agenda short. That might unfortunately mean at this time not doing an agenda briefing or that. So expect that might be coming up is condensing everything down. So I just wanted to let you know as we're walking into this, some of the things that we've got to do. And I mentioned to the mayor that some of the others, I'm worried about our people. especially those essential employees that are out there on the front lines, they're trying to get the supplies and stuff we have, same as Adam and his people. But, you know, and I saw some emails on that about some communities are not even, we did the right, y'all did the right thing in terms of not cutoffs. But they were talking about, well, what about somebody coming into town here and wanting water now? And this is, well, we're just gonna have to tell them nothing. We're not sending our people out there to talk to that. And so if one of them gets sick here, it's gonna be a whole new ballgame for town travel, where we go, what we operate. So I know it's not sounding very good, but I think I need to give you this heads up. It's fluid, it's constantly changing, and we're just gonna go with the flow on this. And we're open to any of your comments that you might have, or suggestions you might have on how we deal with this. It's unprecedented, you know that. That's all.
Absolutely. At least for me, on the meeting side, I think we need to talk a little bit about that. I think there's some opportunities. Definitely, council will have to be somewhat flexible on how we do it. And again, we've got an opportunity to do remote participation here. So, again, I think between now and, say, next week, we need to figure out what's the technology or how can we do this more effectively, while, again, maintaining the requirement under stay at home. So Jim and I will get together and hopefully provide an offer to the council so that we can keep moving and hopefully provide some guidance there.
Jim, who's meeting tomorrow? What team is this?
Oh, I call it our staff. We've all been talking about this now that the
Okay,
ordinance.
so you're meeting with staff tomorrow.
Yeah, we're meeting at 10 o'clock and
At one point, you were talking about the manager around
we
the county and
did,
so
we
forth.
did. We have been meeting with the managers. We had all been talking of that. We had some conference calls. We're all trying to coordinate each one of us. So we're meeting. But I think internally, we need to meet tomorrow and get a game plan in place, and that's what we're gonna do.
Other comments? Great. If nothing else, I'll accept the motion to adjourn, and I can't look to my left to see Mr. Now. The only one who's there is Mr. Hinkle. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Motion is on the floor. Is there a second? I'll second it. Motion is made. Receive the second. That we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Tim, you want to make the change and you'll let him make and send it to you.
That way I don't get it wrong.